Okay, so I want to discuss quickly with you the first red wine. It's called the Red Snapper Cinsaut. It's a 2020 vintage. It was bottled about 4 months ago. About 3 years ago, we had the buyer here and we were having lunch. And the chef prepared us a red snapper, freshly caught a red snapper. And when the sun shined basically on the fish and on the Cinsaut that we served with the red snapper, it almost had the same color. And he said, oh, the color of the Cinsaut matches the red snapper, the fish color. And that's where the name the red snapper comes from. So with this wine, you can see it's almost like a see-through red color, which is quite typical from a Cinsaut. And there's a bit of a youth redness to the wine, but you can see on the brim there's almost like a see-through color. That's very typical from Cinsaut, South Africa. Depends on the style that you want to make it. This particular wine, what we also did was about 95% of this wine is Cinsaut, and then we also used about 5% carbonic fermented Cabernet Franc that we back blended into the wine. Also with the Cabernet Franc carbonic that we fermented it, basically you don't overwork the grapes, you just literally leave the tank, it ferments on its own, and the end result is a very lightly colored Cabernet Franc, but a lot of aromatics. And for us that was a good fit to blend it back into the Cinsaut, and most of the Cinsaut grapes comes from the Breer River area, which is in Worcester, and it's next to the Breer River. And when you smell this wine, because it's a 2020, there's a lot of aromatics that's jumping out of the glass. It's a lot of red fruit, so red berries, red cherries, it's almost like cranberries. And something very typical that you get from a Cinsaut is almost that bubblegum flavor that you get. And I think that's also coming from the Cabernet Franc, because that's typical with a carbonic fermented red wine. You get a lot of that bubblegum flavors that you get on the wine. And there's almost like a herbal spiciness to the wine that's really intriguing, and it lingers in the glass. That also gives it just complexity and some layers to the wine. When you taste the wine, once again, you get a lot of that raspberry, almost like cranberries. It's almost like a blueberry muffin, freshly like blueberry muffin that you're following through on the palate. There's a bit of tannins that you're getting from the Cabernet Franc, because that was whole bunch fermented, so you almost get that stalky tannins that's really interesting for the wine. And there's only a mellow acidity that's cutting through the wine. So overall, it's a well-balanced wine, and it's made in a very easy drinking style. And also a variety that I think you can chill before you have it. And for me, I will chill this and have it on a nice summer's day, hot summer's day.